The NCOIC will position himself where the hearse will be stopped with the bumper directly in front of him. The NCOIC will line up on the curb side back towards the gravesite. Casket team positions itself on the opposite side of the street as the NCOIC, no less than 5 steps from the NCOIC. The bugler will assume the same position as the NCOIC during the hearse to gravesite portion. Mission will be called loud enough for the bugler to hear. All soldiers return to the position of ceremonial at ease. The casket team and NCOIC will come to the position of attention. The bugler will move with the NCOIC. The NCOIC and CTL will salute once the hearse has entered the peripheral vision. The salute does not have to be in unison. The bugler will not salute and will remain at the position of attention during the approach of the hearse. The NCOIC will motion the hearse forward, and the NCOIC will stop the hearse with the bumper of the hearse directly in front of him. Once the hearse has stopped, the NCOIC will drop his left arm back to his side and order arms. The CTL will drop his salute, matching the speed of the NCOIC. The NCOIC will confirm with the funeral director if the flag will be folded before or after the committal service is complete. The CTL turns his head toward the NCOIC to await the signal to proceed. The NCOIC will turn his head toward the funeral director. The NCOIC will get the signal to proceed from the funeral director. He will then turn his head toward the CTL, making eye contact with the CTL, turning his head forward and giving an exaggerated head nod signal. Once the NCOIC has given the exaggerated head nod signal, the CTL will turn his head straight ahead back to the position of attention. The casket team marches forward and flanks towards the rear of the hearse. The casket team ensures that they remain dressed and covered throughout the movement to the hearse. The casket team comes to an automatic mark time for no more than 4 steps, approximately 18 inches from the back of the hearse. The team halts and faces center using a 4-count T-step method facing movement. The pull-out man automatically steps off with his right foot and executes a left flank without hesitation, taking 3 steps without arms swinging, and halts between the CTL and fold man's outside shoulder. The pull-out man steps in with the left foot, bends down at the waist, and dresses the flag. After the flag is unbloused, the pull-out man returns to the position of attention. Once the pull-out man steps up, the NCOIC and the bugler will present arms. The whole team takes 1 sidestep toward the hearse. The center catch will take 1 half sidestep, halting with his feet apart. After the pull-out man takes 1 15-inch step with the casket team, he steps forward with his left foot and drops his head. The pull-out man secures the casket palms facing down and begins to slowly pull it out of the hearse. As the pull-out man pulls the casket out, each man will feed the casket handles through his hands, palms facing down, ensuring that the casket is kept level at all times. The center catch extends his right arm to secure the casket to his right, in the absence of the pull-out man. When the casket is completely out of the hearse, the pull-out man will dress the flag and ensure the handle is pushed in. He will then move back into his original position using 3 side steps with a dead step in between each step. As the pull-out man secures the casket, center catch brings his right arm back to his immediate front and secures the casket. The team executes 5 side steps and the 5-count pivot turn and then proceeds towards the gravesite. All team members release the casket with their flare hand using the 1-hand carry. On the 4th turn, the NCOIC will drop their salute and conduct a right or left face. The NCOIC will pick up a salute once again and will step off to the predetermined route. The bugler will not drop his salute until the casket has been placed on the lowering device. After the 5-count pivot turn, the CTL and fold man will blouse the flag. The casket team will step and grab simultaneously. Once the casket team steps off, the NCOIC will drop his salute and follow 2 to 3 steps behind the casket. The NCOIC will not stay in step with the casket team. The team will pick up an automatic mark time for no more than 4 steps, approximately 18 inches from the mock-up. The team halts and automatically faces center using a 2-count step around. The team lowers their heads to a 45-degree angle in a 3-count movement. The team takes 7 steps onto the mock-up with dead steps in between each side step. They must step to the outside of the mock-up in order to keep the casket level. After the 7th side step, the team lowers the casket onto the lowering device by bending their knees. Once the casket has been placed on the lowering device, the casket team will straighten their legs out simultaneously and will be bent 45 degrees at the waist. The CTL and fold man will unblouse the flag while the rest of the casket team places their thumbs on the edge of the casket. After the casket is placed on the mock-up, the NCOIC and bugler will order arms together. The NCOIC will march forward into position 45 degrees away from the head of the casket, 2 to 3 steps away, in full view of the family and facing the next of kin. The bugler will remain at the position of attention until the FPC orders the firing party to parade rest. The casket team returns to attention in 3 counts. The CTL and fold man gives a non-exaggerated signal, and both will give an exaggerated head nod, and the entire team takes 1 small step back and away from the casket. The pull-out man will face towards the head end of the casket, and the remaining team members will face towards the foot end of the casket. CTL, fold man, and pull-out man step off the mock-up on the 3rd step, center catch and center throw on the 5th step, and present man on the 7th step. All soldiers will step off the mock-up on the left foot. The honcho, or CTL, and pull-out man, or DL, will step around, no facing movements, to their position at the foot and head of the casket, facing each other 1 step away from the casket. The honcho, pull-out man, bugler, NCOIC, and chaplain will all remain at the position of attention. The firing party will march to the weapons, where the FPC will be 3 steps behind and centered on the formation. Firing party will come to a marked time. The FPC will halt and face with the element. The FPC will be 3 steps away from and centered on the element. The firing party will kneel down with their right leg back, ensuring that their knees do not touch the ground, and insert their earplugs. Once they insert their earplugs, the fires will secure their weapons. The firing party will place their left hand on the small of their back to signal to the FPC they are ready. The FPC will remain at the position of attention and insert his hearing protection. The firing party will assume the position of attention with the weapon in unison. The FPC and bugler will assume the position of parade rest in unison with the firing party. At the conclusion of the committal service, the honcho will conduct a non-exaggerated signal, and the NCOIC, honcho, and detail leader will salute in unison. The bugler will not salute during the firing sequence. The FPC, firing party, and the bugler will all come to the position of attention in unison. The FPC will then begin the firing sequence. The FPC will initiate the 6-count movement to conduct the firing party sequence. Each member of the firing party removes his weapon from the safe position by pushing his trigger finger forward. The butt of the weapon is brought to the bicep, and the hand grip of the rifle rests in the palm of the left hand. Simultaneously, the fires will turn their heads parallel to the weapon. The barrel will be at eye level. All weapons are fired simultaneously. Immediately after firing, each fire returns his weapon to a modified port arms position, with palm resting on the charging handle, forming a ceremonial fist, and the head simultaneously turned to the front. The firing party will charge the weapon in unison. After charging the weapon, the charge hand is brought palm facing to the rear in a tight C-fist. Then each fire returns to the modified position of port arms with their fingers in the trigger well. The fires will continue until all 3 volleys are complete. Each fire will charge his weapon to ensure the bolt is locked to the rear with the magazine seated. The NCOIC will hold his salute for 5 seconds to give the bugler time to salute, then he will order arms. Upon seeing the NCOIC's movement, the FPC will call order arms, and the FPC, bugler, and firing party will order arms in unison. The FPC will execute parade rest with the firing party. The bugler will move to the foot of the casket and will time his movement at the moment the second lengthwise fold is turned horizontal. Once parade rest has been called, the 2 soldiers at the casket will make eye contact and begin the flag folding sequence. All wrist rolls will be conducted with the hand on the opposite side of the family when the flag is horizontal, and the top hand will be used when the flag is vertical. After a non-exaggerated signal from the DL is made, the The soldier at the head, the DL, and the soldier at the foot of the casket, the honcho, will bend forward at the waist in unison, ensuring both can see the other out of their peripheral vision. They will grasp the flag at the center and simultaneously slide their hands out to the corners together. The DL will conduct a wrist roll. Ensure that all wrist rolls are conducted with the hand on the opposite side of the family. Soldiers will stand using the 1, 2, 3, and step back cadence. The DL will conduct a wrist roll and the first lengthwise fold will be made. Both soldiers will bring their right and left hands up to meet in the middle, bringing the flag to a vertical position. Soldiers will ensure the flag does not touch the casket. The DL and the honcho will set the border. The honcho will also offset the bottom grommet. The DL will conduct a wrist roll and the detail will slide their hands to the bottom of the flag in unison. The DL will conduct a wrist roll and the two soldiers will turn the flag to a horizontal position. The DL will conduct a wrist roll and the second lengthwise fold will be made, bringing the flag to a vertical position. The DL will conduct a wrist roll and they will slide to the bottom of the flag in unison. The DL will stuff the guts. The DL will conduct a wrist roll and the two soldiers will turn the flag to a horizontal position. During the first side step, the honcho will slide his hands together. The honcho will take dead steps in between each side step. The fold man and the honcho will conduct 13 folds. The tip of the 8th fold will be positioned in the blue field and not past the first star. This will allow for a proper amount of access material to be tucked into the flag after the 13th fold. After the 10th fold, the honcho will ensure that he covers the red corner at his right hand with the bottom layer of blue fabric. After the 11th fold, the fold man will push the red fabric into the fold with his left hand and close the blue fabric down over the pushed in red fabric. He will pinch the fabric down during the 11th fold to keep it in place. Once the tuck is complete, the fold man will dress the flag. Once the flag is presentable, the fold man will look into the eyes of the honcho. Even if the flag is presentable, the honcho will move his hands over the left and right corners of the flag before lowering the flag. Once the flag is presentable, the honcho will lower the flag by grasping it by the horns and swiftly pulling it into his stomach. On the swift pull, the honcho will execute a half right face and the DL will execute a half left face. The DL will accept the flag left hand over right and the honcho will render a 9-second count salute. At the conclusion of the salute, the DL will swiftly pull the flag into their stomach and step back into position. Simultaneously, the honcho will execute another half right face and the fold position will execute a left face. Both the fold man and the honcho will step off on their left foot simultaneously, marching back to the detail's transportation. The following presentation and end of mission sequence describes procedures for the 9th soldier detail when a chaplain is present. After the honcho and fold men have passed by the NCOIC, he will march in the direction of the family car. As soon as the honcho and fold man have marched off, the chaplain will step into the head of the casket directly behind the DL. The DL will conduct an about face. The chaplain will take the flag and the DL will salute using the 9-second count salute. The chaplain will swiftly pull the flag into his stomach and the DL will conduct an about face. The chaplain will push the flag away from his body and spin the flag and conduct a left or a right face and march towards the next of kin. On behalf of the President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service. After the presentation speech, the chaplain will march behind the family and stand at attention until the family moves towards the family car. Once the family marches towards the family vehicle, the NCOIC will come to the position of attention and present arms. After the order arms, he will wait for the family to drive away from the gravesite. Once the family has driven away, the NCOIC will march back to the head of the casket alongside the DL. The NCOIC and DL will present arms in unison. The NCOIC and DL will order arms and will conduct a facing movement, called Ready Step, and march back to transportation. The following presentation and end of mission sequence describes procedures for the 9-soldier detail when the chaplain is not present. After the honcho and fold man have stepped off, the DL will push the flag away from his body, spinning the flag so the point is facing toward him and conduct an about face. The NCOIC will take the flag and the DL will salute using the 9-second count salute. The NCOIC will swiftly pull the flag and the DL will conduct an about face. The NCOIC will push the flag away from his body and spin the flag. The NCOIC will conduct a facing movement and march towards the next of kin. The NCOIC will kneel down in front of the next of kin and give the presentation speech. On behalf of the President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service. After the presentation speech, the NCOIC returns to the position of attention and renders a 9-second count salute. After the salute, the NCOIC will march in the direction of the family car until the person carrying the flag approaches. Once the NCOIC salutes, he will wait for the family to drive away from the gravesite. The NCOIC will march back up to the head of the casket alongside the DL. The NCOIC and DL will present arms in unison. The NCOIC and DL will order arms in unison. The NCOIC and DL will conduct a facing movement, called Ready Step, and march back to transportation and conduct final inspections. The FPC will initiate dismissal once he sees that the next of kin has turned their back to the grave and walk away, or upon signal from the NCOIC. The FPC will move in unison with the firing party. After the firing party executes port arms, the number 1 man will execute 2 steps to the right, with the dead step between each step, stepping away from the gravesite. He will then hold his weapon out with his right hand and arm fully extended to the right at a modified port arms so the FPC can grasp the weapon. On the FPC's command of forward march, the firing party will step off. As the FPC marches past the number 1 man, he will take the number 1 man's weapon from him. The number 1 man will face the gravesite and assume parade rest. Once the next of kin has returned to their vehicle or upon signal from the NCOIC, the roundsman will come to the position of attention, take off his gloves to police expended brass casings, and return to his transportation. The FPC halts with elements, orders arms, and conducts a left face. The FPC will be centered on and 3 steps away from the firing party. Firing party orders arms in unison. The firing party executes a right face in unison. The FPC will inspect the weapon he is carrying, then go back to the position of attention. Perform an after-action review.